right, in this video today, we're going to talk about breathing mechanics and how breathing can actually really save your bacon as far as longevity and fulfillment in your quality of life as you age. So basically, we're going to talk about how breathing mechanics and inner unit core function can prevent postural pathologies and other pathologies in your body, and we're going to explain why. So first of all, talk about diaphragmatic breathing. So diaphragmatic breathing is belly breathing, in which we, at the start of the breath, we full up the diaphragm, the belly cavity, and then once that's full, then we begin filling up the chest cavity. So if you think about in the breathing mechanism, we're breathing fully diaphragmatically, then we're getting 100% of our oxygen capacity with every breath. If we're chest breathing, we get in that stress state where we chest breathe, then we are going to get about roughly 33 to 40 some percent of our available oxygen. So you can imagine how that could be problematic. But it's also problematic for various other reasons, but we'll talk about that one. So if you take a look here's a short video of a proper diaphragmatic breath. So if you can see what's going on here, see how the organs are moving quite a bit here. So those are actually pumping. Okay, and this pumping is very important for visceral function, keeping all the fluid lines open and clean, the connectivity between all your organs, communication with the body, its innervations to the muscular system, so that it can let us know what's going on in the organs. So if you look at, here's what the abdominal cavity looks like right in here, and then we're going to go to the inner core and we're going to explain what's going on here. So if you look at this breathing video, so if you look at that breathing video, what you noticed was the organs rising up and down in the abdominal cavity. So basically what happens, okay, if we're breathing properly diaphragmatically, is right down in here, the lower abdomen, or the transverse abdominis, which is in the inner unit core here, and that's what you're seeing right here. So what that does is that relaxes and releases and that pushes out, what allows the diaphragm to drop down. Okay, so what that does is that creates space in the cavity here, and then your internal obliques, your erectors, and your rectus abdominis, your six-pack abdominal muscles here, those all relax so that the diaphragm can contract and drop down. And then on the exhale, the diaphragm relaxes while the transverse abdominis, internal obliques, your erectors, and your rectus, they all contract and bring the abdominal wall in. So this is what causes the pumping of the organs. Failing to pump the organs, failing to pump the organs really inhibits flow, it inhibits energy. Energy gets blocked up in there, and then you start seeing a decrease in the function of like your kidneys, your liver, digestion, all that stuff. And it's just from a lack of action, lack of motion. Just like your body, okay, your organs need to move. This is what your abdominal cavity should look like, okay, with a good toned abdomen. For belly breathing, okay, a lot of times we're either pulling this in all the time, or we've got this transverse abdominis released all the time. So what actually happens here, if our breathing inhibition or our breathing is inhibited, we get a condition where our viscera, okay, our organs, they actually, because they're not being held in by the abdominal wall, gravity will take them out to here. So you see a lot of people with big old bellies that look like, they're bloated or something like that, and they might be, but a lot of times, especially through childbirth and whatnot, this abdominal wall just loses its ability to hold the organs in. So the organs actually flop out. And then once that occurs, okay, then gravity is really pulling on the body down here. So it's pulling everything down in what we call a pronated position. So it's pulling you to the point of being where you're going towards the fetal position. You can't hold it up. So if we look over here again, our core, if you look at this posture, okay, this is a pretty good posture here. Now, what's got to occur for this to happen? Okay, you've got everything in the back has to do its job, and everything in the front has to do its job. But everything on the back, outside and inside, needs to do its job. So this is what we call our extrinsic muscles, the outer muscles, and the inner unit muscles along the spine, near the spine. Okay, those are what we call your deep muscles. So you got the superficial layer, and then you've got the deep intrinsic layer in here. Same with your core. So you've got the outer unit here, your rectus abdominis, your six-pack muscles that we all see, but the inner unit here is what's near the spine and organs, and that's what stabilizes it. So if you look at this posture here compared to this posture here, over here we've got everything on the inner and outer unit of the back of the spine working, everything in the inner and outer unit in the front of the spine working. So you're able to create a nice tension, strength tension balance here. Over here, not so much. So that's why posture is so important. Inner core is so important. So if you look at here, we're going to imagine this person has got that visceral hang here. So the abdominal wall is totally weak, not functioning. Viscera is hanging out. You have gravity pulling down here. The extensor muscles are not doing their job. In fact, they're getting stretched and lengthened instead of being in a tonic, engaged state to keep the spine in its neutral position. And so what develops here is you've got lower back instability, you've got neck instability, you've got thoracic instability, and then you're probably creating a taut situation here where these muscles are becoming long and tight. Okay, so they're long, weak, and tight, and that's just a protective mechanism to protect your spine. So we're going to take a look at what a correction would be for this, and then here, before I move on, a couple more likely occurrences that are going to develop from this weak core and poor posture and visceral release here, this visceral hang, is you've got one diastasis recti, and over here you've got spondylolisthesis. So these are both common. It's not uncommon to see these two combined because it's the same causal mechanism. You've got a weak core, you've got weak inner unit and poor breathing. So this is going to represent, let's see, I'm not sure exactly where this is on the spine, but it's probably somewhere in the lumbar region. And what happens here is you get one vertebrae that slides under, okay? And you can see what it's doing to the disc here. This is, if this were a true image, this disc would probably be out here a little bit, okay? Popping out. And so this is just from core instability, guys. You can see what's going on here. If we had a proper inner unit and proper breathing function, all right, there would be a tight cylinder around here, compressive mechanism, almost like a hydraulic amplifier system that would keep those in place. But this person was moving around, was probably doing something under a ballistic load, some type of fast action, or maybe just taking bad postural position and just slowly moves that out of the way. And then the diastasis recti occurs right here. You see it's a separation in the linea alba here of the two abdominal walls. So right here, this is really cutting down your body's ability to keep your organs protected. Okay, so this happens a lot. Again, through childbirth. In men, it happens to people that have big distended bellies, that have no strength, no tone. So something like this, if you got this combined with the spondylolisthesis and you try to go in the gym and work out, you're probably going to injure yourself. So there you have it. That's a pretty good representation of why posture is so important and how breathing mechanics tie into it. On top of that, if you look at the net exchange of energy, okay, that happens when you're breathing properly. So if we're breathing from the belly, we're getting 100% of our available oxygen. If we're breathing from the chest and not utilizing our belly, then you're looking at anywhere between like 35 and 40-some% oxygen that you can get into your body. So if you're doing that, your energy is going to be toast. And on top of that, if you're not pumping your organs, you're not getting the fluids flowing through your HPA axis, your hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenal glands. You've got your liver, your kidneys. If those aren't getting pumped and those aren't moving things through, they tend to lose function. And so you've got your hypothalamus, pituitary axis being compromised. So that's going to kill your energy. And on top of the low oxygen, that's going to kill your energy as well. So if you're losing vitality and you've got poor posture, you've got back pain, take a look at your breathing mechanics. And if you have any questions about that, just leave a comment down below, and we'll get some more videos out to help you fix this. Okay? But it's real important, guys. How you breathe and how you move, how you posture are so important for your ability to thrive and for your ability to have a long and fulfilling life. So I hope that helps. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. And if you have any suggestions for future videos, please let me know. I'm always trying to shoot ideas out there. So anything that I can provide value to you, I'm all in. I'm all interested. So, all right, guys, I hope you appreciate that, and I hope I provide some value. Take care. Much love. Live well.